We're live. Cool. So, yeah, it's been a long week of work, but now I can finally stream again. So let's just get right into it. Oboe. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Values on a blue line have the same sum in each 3x3 box the line passes through. If a line passes through a box multiple times, each individual segment sums separately. There's exactly one napdanaban cell in each row, column, and box. A digit in a napdanaban cell has its value either increased or decreased by exactly 1. Example given. A 3 becomes either a 2 or a 4. Each digit appears in a napdanaban cell exactly once. However, it is permissible for 2 digits to become modified to the same value, such as both 5 and 7 becoming 6. Okay, let's get started then. These are region sum lines. This over here is going to have to contain a napdanaban cell on it. This might also have to be one. But we know that these 6 digits here, if we just added them up from 1 to 6, the lowest they could possibly be would be 21. But they go across 2 cells, so this one would have to be half of that, which is 10.5, which is not a Sudoku digit. So, one of these has to be a napdanaban cell, making its value 1 less, which makes this a 20, which would make this a 10, which is also a napdanaban cell of 9. I'm going to have napdanaban cells be red and every other cell be green. This is a 9, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and exactly one of them is napdanaban. This is a 7, 8, 9. I should just get rid of this. That's sufficient enough. One of these is going to be napdanaban. Otherwise, it would be the same value looking at each other across box borders, which is not possible. So all the rest of these are not, and one of these is napdanaban, making all of those not. These are either the same cell or this one's napdanaban. What can this be? The lowest this can be is 781, which is 16. But this one cannot be 16. The highest this can be is an 87 with 9 looking at it, being 15. So this has to be napdanaban. Yeah. And this has to be a 781, with this being 1 less. And this has to be 15 now. This becomes a 0 when you have 15 here, 15 there. This has to add 15 in 4 cells without a 1 is 2, 3, 4, 6, making this 5. If this was napdanaban, it would make this cell really interesting. Probably. No, it could still be as low as 5, 5, 6, 7, or 8, with one of those being a napdanaban. Well, if it were a 5, both of them would have to have napdanaban on it. But the lowest it can be is a 5, though. That's what we learned here. But that could even be as low as a 4 with the nap down event here. No, not necessarily. Because of this and this. If this were a 5, if the value is as low as a 5, there would have to be a nap down event here, subtracting the 6 by 1, making it 5, which should make this be a nap down event, which should make this one have to be not nap down event. So this is 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. Also, what a weird word, nap down event. I wonder what it means. Never nap, pank. These are just consecutive digits. Nine could still go there with an 8 there. And the 8 would be nap down event. I'm gonna call them KD cells from now on. Easier. What are the two lines here? Because we do know that it's going to subtract a digit by 1. 1 is definitely not the digit there. So 1's on one line. The other line would have to be 235, 236, 245. All of those work. 235 if it doesn't have a KD on it. Otherwise, 236 or 245. And if the 1 has a KD on it, it would have to be 146, with 4 or 6 being the KD cell. This is at most a 6. This is at least a 2 with the KD on it. You could have 1-2 pair here with the 2 being 1 less, and then that's 2. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is a lot of options. Yeah, not too much to pencil mark though. What's the highest this can be? 6, 5, 4, 3. 9, right? Yeah. Because the highest this can add up to is 6, 5, 4, 3, which is 18. Divide that by 2, it's a 9. So the highest these segments can add up to is 9. This is 4 cells, which usually would be 10. Would add up to 10. So it has to have a KD on it, subtracting it. And this has to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is a 9. 6, 5, 4, 3. 3, 6, 4, 5. Making that a 2, so this does have to have a KD on it as well. And it has to be a 2, 1. Making that a 1. Because 1 is already KD over here. This is a 6 now. These are no longer 6. This is a 2. This is a 3, 4 pair. This is a 9. This is a 1. The even cell along this pair of adjacent digits, a pair of consecutive digits, has to be 4 or 8s. So the odd cell is 3, 5, 7, or 9. Also, this is either 3 or 4, that KD cell. One of those two is a 2. This can't be 5 anymore. Although it could still be KD. No, it couldn't be KD with 5. Because this can't be 6 either. Could it? Could it? There is one of 3 or 4 on here. So the lowest this can add up to is 135. No. If this is a 3, 6, that's 145. If this is a 4, 5, this is 136 to the lowest it can add up to. I'm liking it so far. It's a good puzzle. So, no matter what this is, this has to have 1 with the other of 9 on there. Yes, I'm solving from oldest to the newest. So this does have to have a KD on it in one of those two cells, making those KD cells forced. And whatever this is, either 136 or 145, with one of those things being subtracted from it by 1, making this a 9. But there is a 1 in one of those two cells. And these are 7, 8, 9. This one is not a 9. This is a 7, 8 over here as well, since it's the same digit. One goes in one of those two cells. I guess I could put this is 3, 4, 5, 6. Line is one of those two cells. I guess this is worth noting. This is 3, 4, 5, or 6 as well. Oh yeah, I do have a twin doku coming up. It's which one is it? Adaptation. I saw on the LMD page that you were attributed to one of them as well. It was based off of one that you did. Duplexity. This can't be a 9, because it would just be a 9, because 9 is already a KD cell. And it's already broken the bank with this line. Yeah, I did his Gemini one a while ago. I forgot when I did it, but I really enjoyed it. So I see myself enjoying adaptation and duplexity as well. This either adds up to an 8, 9, or 10. Whatever this is, it subtracts 1 from this line, from this total digit count to get to 20. So this one must, well, this one is just, this one adds up to 10, it has to be 235. So this is not 235. This is 146. And one of those two is subtracted by 1 to get 9. To 10, sorry. The rest of these digits are 3, 5, 9, and 2. This is not a 2, this is not a 5. These have to be consecutive, so if this were a 3, that would have to be a 4, but that breaks this cell over here. 5 would make this a 4, and 9 would make that an 8. This 7 or 8 looks into this box over here and here, so it has to go here. We can't repeat on this line, otherwise this would have to be 0, which is possible in this puzzle, but we already have the KD cell of 1 here. And also the KD cell is over here in this box already. This either goes there or there. Don't know where yet though. These are 5, 6, 7, and 8. I can note that. There's a 3 and a 4 over here somewhere. If this were a 7, 1, 6, 2, 5, or 3, 4, it couldn't be 3, 4. It would be 1, 6, or 2, 5. If this were an 8, it could be 1, 7, 2, 6. There is a 1 or a 2 there then. It can't be 3, 5 because this would be 4, 6, adding up to 10. So this is either, if it were an 8, 1, 7, or 2, 6, or if it were a 7, 1, 6, or 2, 5. So there is always a 1 or a 2 over here, never the 3. Oh, excuse me. If that were a 1, that'd be the Napdanaban cell. If that were a Napdanaban cell, that'd be a 1. But you can also just have a 1 and a Napdanaban cell here. 3 possibly is for that line. Is this sequence restricted in any way? If there were no Napdanaban here, that'd be Napdanaban. This would either be 10 or 8. Hmm. That does my head in. These are also 5, 6, 7, or 8. This is 7, 8, or 9, but definitely a 9 there. One, 3, 6, or 1, 4, 5. Hey! Thanks for the sub. And welcome to the stream, Charles. I am so excited about being an affiliate now. It's good so far. I've only been doing this one. This is my first puzzle, but I plan on getting through a lot today. A well-deserved first badge. But being that this is either 1 through 6 or 1, 4, 5, there is a 4, 6 virtual pair in these cells. But the 4 or 6 on this line cannot be the Napdanaban. Because if the 4 or say if it was a 4, if the 4 was KD on the cell on this line, then the 4 is looking over here, making that a 4. And now the 4 is both a KD here and a KD there, which is impossible. So the KD on this line has to be 3 or 5. If this were a 4, making this a 4-5 pair, because that'd be 6, then that would be an 8, and that works. If this were a 4 and that were a 5, that would be 3, 6, making that a 6, which also works in terms of KD looking at each other. Do either of these have to be a 4, though? If this is a 4, then that's 3, 6. Hmm. Not necessarily. That'd be a 6. This could be a 4 or an 8. Because there's no 5 looking at it. One of these two is a 2, one of those two is a 5. Over here is 2, 3, 5, 7, 8, or 9. Well, not 9. Oh, this 7, 8, 9 is looking down here. So neither of those are 9s. Also, 7 is looking into this box, making one of those two a 7 or 8s. If it were here, it would have to be a 7. Otherwise, just a 7, 8 over here. Excuse me. Well, in either scenarios, either we have a 7 here making that an 8, or a 7, 8 pair over here looking at this. So this is never an 8. Probably this over here then. Or over here. this over here maybe. If this were a 4, if this KD was a 4, that'd make that a 6 and an 8, and that a 4, which would make that a 3 KD cell. If it were a 3 instead, then you would have a 5 KD cell over here, making that a 9, 8, and then a 4. Or maybe it has to do with this being a 4. No, because if that were a 4 and that were a 6 and 8, this being a 6 makes that a 3, makes that a 4 and then an 8. Ah, there we go. This can't be a 4. Because if this were a 4, then the KD cell over here would have to be a 6. A 3. Yeah, a 3. If this were a 4, they would make this one a 4, which would make this have to be 1, 3, 6. That's already a 6 though, so this would have to be a 3 and the KD cell over here. The 3 and this 4 looks at this, and now what KD cell could it be? It couldn't be a 2 there, it couldn't be a 3 there, and it couldn't be a 4 there. So it couldn't be a KD cell over here. So this has to be an 8 with a 9 there, making this a 7. Now it has to be an 8. This is a 5 now. This is a 3 and a 4. This is an 8 and a 7. These two cells are 1 and 4. This is 6, 7, and 9. This is a 6, looking at 7 that pair up here. One of those two is a 7. This is either 1, 6 or 2, 5. Can't be 3, 4 because of that. There is a 5 or a 6 over here. Because if not, if there were no 5 or 6 here, then both these would have to be 5, 6, adding up to 11. But this adds up to 9. So that 5, 6 pair, it makes a 5, 6 pair in this column, which makes that have to be a 4, and that a 6. So this is no longer 4, 5, this is 1, 3, 6, with the 3 being the KD cell, which makes this a 5, this a 3, 6, that a 4, 5. This is a 2 now, that's a 1. This is a 4. This is a 4 to be KD cell, because there's a 3 KD cell over here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. The 2 KD cells that are left are 5 and 7. 7 is either... 7 is not in this box, so it has to be over here as a KD cell. And the 5 has to be over here as a KD cell. So that's a 4, that's a 3, 2. This is not KD, this is, making it a 3. So 3 has a 2. This. What could it be if it is this wasn't KD, if this was all non-KD, to add up to 9, it would have to have a 1 on it, otherwise it'd be 2, 3, 4, breaking those cells. Those two can't both be 4. So it would have to be 1, 2, 6. Because you can't have a 5. 5 is KD. So either you have a 2, 1, 6 there, or alternatively, this is KD, it's a 5. Either it goes up 1, making this a 1, 2 pair, or it goes down 1, making this either a 1, 4, which it cannot be, or 2, 3, which it cannot be. Okay, so there's always a 2 on here, is what I'm learning. Either this is a KD cell, this is a KD 5, making this have to be 1, 2, 6. Couldn't be 1, 3, 5 or 2, 3, 4. It has to be 1, 2, 6 like that somewhere. Or this is KD. It couldn't be 4, because these two had to add up to 5, but there's a 1, 4 pair looking at it, and a 2, 3 pair looking at it in one cell, which is the only two ways you can add up to 5. So it would have to go up to 6, making this a 1, 2 pair, making that a 2. That's always a 2. And there's always a 1. This is not a 2 anymore. This is a 1, because that's a 6 looking at it. This is either KD5 going to 6, or just a regular 6. This is 3, 4, or 5. One of them definitely being a 4. This is 3, 5, and 6, with one of them definitely being a 3. It's not a 5. These two 5s look at this box, making this a 5. It's a 3, 6 pair, which makes this one have to be a 5 now. KD5. Which makes this a KD7. And we are done with the KD cells. I'll leave the coloring in because I don't need coloring for anything else. The rest of these cells are 4, 8, and 9. 4 does not go there, has to go there. 4 goes there with 1 there. 1 is one of those two cells. That's not a 7. This is a 9. This is an 8. These are 6 and 7, making that a 6, not a 3. This is 3, 4, 6, and 7. One of those two is a 5. That's not a, these two are in 7. This 8, 9 pair is looking at this, making it a 5 or 6. What does this add up to? 17, 21, 24, or 27. This is either 6 or 8. If it were a 6, to add up to 24, there is a 2 here. Can there be a 1 here? What would be the most this could add up to if this were a 1? 1, 2, 7 eighths. Or 1, 2, 8 eighths. 16 plus 3 is 19. Lowest this can add up to, though, is 24, so it's not possible. This can't be a 1. That's a 1, that's a 1, that's a 6, it's a 5. 7 is one of those two cells. What else? This is not a 5. This is a 3, 4 pair. What's the most it can add to right now? 2, 6, 8, 8, 16, 22, 24, which is the least that this can add up to. There we go. This is a 6, 8, 2 pair, with this being equal to 8. 14 plus 8 is 22, plus 2 is 24. 17 plus 4 is 21, plus 3 is 24. And so that math checks out. 3 goes in one of those two cells with the 4. It's not a 5 anymore. This is a 5. That makes that a 5. Out of 2, that a 3. 7, 9, 9, 8. That's not an 8 or a 2, it's a 6. 8, 2, 8, 9, 7, 9, 8. This is 5, 4, 4, 3, 4, 3. This is a 6, 6, 7, 7, 8. There we go. I really enjoyed that puzzle. It was it's pretty smooth, very smooth solve. And just having all of the lines have to be maximized or minimized in order to fit is very fun. Thank you, thank you. Okay, then let's move on to the next one. The Quaker's Quiver. Normal Sudoku rules apply. A digit in a cell with arrows equals the sum of all digits in friendly cells in those directions. A cell is friendly if its digit is equal to the cell's row, column, and/or box number. Okay. Okay. So friendly cells, if any of these are a 1, it's friendly for its box. Same for 2 here, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then look here on columns and rows, if any of these are a 1, it's friendly. 2, friendly. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Would all be friendly cells in those instances. And these arrows are going to count the sum of all friendly cells. The arrows themselves could be friendly, I think. Well, no matter what, there is no modification for any digits in the cell. It's either friendly or unfriendly. Doesn't change its value at all. So yeah, okay. This, then, has to count both of these cells as friendly. Otherwise, if it's just counting this one, then the sum of 2 is just 2. There have to be 2 2's in that box, which is not possible. So both these have to be friendly. And they're either 1, 2, or 3. That's not a 3. Because either they are the 1 in the box, this one's not a 2 in this column, or a 3 in that column. The row is redundant for the box. This one is the same digit as that. It is 1 or 3. And this is either 3, 4, or 5. None of which can be friendly for that cell. This being 1 or 3, I don't think can be friendly. Because either you have a 2, either box 2, row column 4, or row 2. So this is never friendly. Thank you, Charles. Yeah, once you crack into a puzzle, it tends to go pretty quickly. I mean, with all these arrows, with all the ones that are looking like straight down, we can say for certain that they can't be more than 3 cells that are friendly in that column. Because if there were, if there are four friendly cells in this column, first of all, what would they be? It's way too big even for this column. It's 9. Like, what? 3, 4, 5, 6. But anyway, you couldn't have more than 3 in the column. Otherwise, it would add up to 10 or more. 1, 2, 3, 4 is the least it could be. So that means for this row is only there's at max 1 more along these cells. This one cannot be friendly. The only friendly cell it could be is 9 for the column, row, or box. So this would have to be 9 or more, but 9 is the biggest digit in the Sudoku. If this were an 8, that'd be a 1. This sees at least 3. So the most this could be is 6. Ah, yeah, there we go. If this were an 8, this is at least 3. So this cell would be counting at least 11, which is not possible. This could only be an 8 or a 9. Column, box, row is 8 or 9. Same is true for this one. This can't be a 7. Because then this would have to at least a 10. This could be a 6, though. Box or row number being a 6. Obviously can't be a 9. In fact, where can 9 go in this column? It has to go in one of those two cells. Because no matter where 9 goes in this column, it has to be a friendly cell. Which means that it couldn't go in any of those cells. Otherwise, these would be counting at least 9 in a friendly cell, and have to count at least 1 more. For this one more would be 10. For this one, it would be 12. So one of those two is a 9 and is friendly. And it couldn't be that one, because of this. This would be looking here, seeing that friendly 9, and it has to be at least 12. So the 9 has to be here. How about 8 in these rows and columns? If 8 were to go anywhere in front of these arrows, then along the other column or row, say the 8 is in the column, then where does 8 go in the row? It can't be looking at it over here as well, otherwise this would have to add up to at least 16. So it'd have to be there, if this were looking at it there. So it'd be like that. And that would have to be a 9, which would instantly be friendly. So either we have 1 8 there, or an 8 here. This one can't be an 8 though. So an 8 is in one of those two cells. Yeah, that's true. Either we have an 8 looking over here, making the 8 in this have to be there, in that column, or we have an 8 there. So this is 8 or 9, and it is friendly no matter what. Is there anything staring at this cell? No. There are no arrows staring at that cell. 9 is one of those 3 cells. Couldn't be there, otherwise that would have to be a 9, and there'd be 2 9s looking at each other. It couldn't be there because that would have to be at least 9, so it is one of those 3 cells, because it is going to be friendly in that box. If this were a friendly cell, it would either be a 1 or a 3 for the box. Couldn't be an 8, because one of those two is an 8. And also, this would just count way too much. So this could be friendly. Making that be a 6. Making one of those be a 3. That one, in fact. Or isn't friendly. And this is just counting over here. This could just count 2 cells over here. 2 or 3 cells. Well, no, it would only count 2 cells. There are max 2 cells over here counted. Because if there were 3, smallest they could be is a 3 here, a 4 here, and a 5 here. Which is 12. If this were a 6... this one can't be a 6. If this were a 6, then these would have to be 1, 2. 6 and 3, adding up to 9. Everything else would be unfriendly, would not be friendly. And so this would just be counting a 6 over here, which means this would also have to be a 6. Which breaks, because there's 2 6s in the column. And this can only be a 6 if we're friendly. Because it's looking at row 6, box 6, and column 9, but there's 9 there. We're only looking at box or row for this, anything along this column. So if this were a 5, also 6 can't be anywhere over here, because it's the same logic. So 6 is one of those cells. I'll just note that. So we're only looking at rows then. If this were a 5, then these cut out to 3 or 4. Yeah, 4. If they did up to 3, then they would have to have 1 more. Where would you get that? Row 1, column 1, box 1. None of them are touching over here. And you couldn't get it from here because that would be 6 with the 5 there. The only way for there to be 1 more... Actually, I think there has to be. If not, if there were 2 cells over here, lowest they can be is 3 and 4, right? 7. And this would have to add up to 2, which is not possible. So you can't have 2 cells over here that are friendly. At least counting that one. So this one, to get a second cell, has to be here. This one has to be friendly, which is 1 or 3. Can't be an 8. Which makes that a 2. So this is either 3 or 5. All of these have to be unfriendly now. And this has to get 3 more to add up to 9. We have 6 already, and 3 has to be here. Making that a 1. These are now all not friendly. This is a 4. This is a 3. That's a 5. This is a 3 as well. This sees 5 plus 3 is 8, so this is 8. One of those is an 8. This is not friendly. Therefore, well, 2 can't go there. 2 is in one of those cells. This has to see at least that cell. Because if it were just that cell that it saw friendly. Also, it can't see 0 cells. Because if it saw 0 cells, that would have to add up to 0. So at least one of them, at least one cell that an arrow is pointing to has to be friendly. I forgot to mention that before. So it can't only be this one. If it were, then you'd have this just counting that cell, which should be the same number. So this has to be friendly. And it's either a 2, a 6, or a 2 for the box. If this were friendly, 2, 7, or 3. It can't be 3. So it has to be 2 or 7. Which it couldn't be either. If it were a 7, the lowest it could add up to is 9. If it were 2, that would have to add up to 8. Both of which are seen in the box. So that cannot be friendly. This is a 2 or a 6. 7, 3, 3. That can't be friendly. 8, 3, 3. This can't be friendly either. No, no, no. Boo, 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 boo. 7, 8, 9. If it's for friendly, it'd be a 7. But you could have like a 1, 1. Oh, this can't be a 1. Yeah. But anyway, this could add up to 8 if that were a 7. Which is possible. If this were a 6, that'd be a 6. Otherwise, you already have a 2 there. Neither of those are 2s, so one of those 2 is a 2. One of those 2 is a 2 as well. Because these are not friendly cells. These are not 7, because they're not friendly, so that's one of those is a 7. This is either 5 or 6. Can't be a 5, because 5 is looking at it, so it has to be a 6. 5 goes there, 7 goes there, 2 goes there. What then? Just looking at least a 3. Let's look at least a 2. 2, 2, 2. Eight along this row. Is either one of those cells are there? Oh, can't be there. We knew that before because of this. Excuse my yawn. There's only one more friendly cell here, and it's a 1. Hmm. 4, 5, 6. 5 is one of these cells that can't be there. What is the rest of this row? It's 4, 5, 6, or 7. This is 4, 6, or 7. So is that. This is 4, 5, or 6. Can't be, or sorry, 4, 5, or 7. Can't be a 6. And this is 5, 6, or 7. Can't be a 4. The rest of this is 1, 8, or 9. All of which are possible. This is not a friendly cell. It would either have to be a 2, 5, or 2. These can't be along the row 3. This could be a 4, this could be a 5, this could be a 6. But this can't be a 5 actually. But this could be a 6. So those two could still be friendly. This one can't. Can't be a 3, a 2, or a 5. If this were friendly 4, then you can see like a 1 there and a... Well, no, it couldn't. Where does... Where does 7 go along this row? Either it goes in one of those cells, and that is a 9, or this is a 7. So it's a 7 or a 9. That's what I'm learning. This can't be a 9. Neither can that. Neither can that. Well, it could actually, because that could be a 9. This is not a 7. Because of that. It's also not an 8 or a 9. If this were a 7, the max it could see is 5 more. Well, it has to see 5 more. So, that means that none of these are an 8 for this box. Those would be friendly. This is an 8, and that's a 9, making a 7 go there. That's at least 17. So, one of those is an 8, one of these is an 8. And whichever one it is not friendly. 7, 7, or 1, 2, or 3. You still have an 8 here with 9 there, or an 8 here with an 8 there. Let's see. Where does This is 4 along this. This can't be an 8. Neither of those can be an 8. But this must be at least a 10. Anything else staring at this group of cells? No. No, there is not. I mean, this is 3 or more. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 9. If either of these are a 6, then that is a 9. Making that an 8. All the rest of these will be unfriendly. This could still be a 4 to be friendly. That 9 would definitely be not friendly. What is going to be next for this puzzle? I'm thinking of labeling all the possible friendly cells. Maybe along a certain row I should. Over here, maybe. Or down here? Could this be a 7? If that were a 9, yeah. All the rest supposed to be unfriendly, that'd be a 1. If this was friendly, it'd be a 7. All the rest of these would be unfriendly. If this were a 7, then how does this add up to 5 more? This is definitely not a 3. Might be worth saying. What if... Could any of these be 7? Yes, that'd just be an 8. Could any of these be a 6? 6 would make that a 7. This would have to have 1 or 2 more to add up to 8 or 9. We could have a 1 there. That's it. This would have to be an 8 and a 1 there. Do, 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 do. So what else do we have? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And one of those is an 8. We know that much. These are not 6, because that's 6 there. So one of these is a 6. One of those is the 6 for the box, being friendly. So this is a 6 and a 1 after 7. So this has to have one more to add up to 8s. You can't have 2 more, because the 2 looking down there. And nothing else could be 2 in this puzzle. Thus all of these are unshaded. That's not an 8. This is an 8. One of those is a 9. The rest of those are not friendly. One of those is a friendly cell and it's 8. If this were friendly, it'd be a 6. Any one of these, the only friendly cell they can be is 6. It's the last friendly cell in that column. This would be 7 or 9, which I don't think it could be. Because what are the possibilities for the friendly cells here? Possibility here is 6 or 5. 5 along the row and box and column. This is also 5 or 6. These are all the possible friendly cells for these cells. Because the column, row, and box. This sees 4. Can't be 8. Can't be 7. Well, it's 4 or 7. This can't be 3. Can't be 8. It'd have to be 7. Also, it's not friendly at all. Because it's unfriendly cell. This couldn't be a 9. Could be a 7. Can't be a 2. Those are all the possibilities there. So if this were a 6, this would have to take at least one of these cells in order for this to grow. It can't just be 6, counting that cell over there. But what could it be? The lowest it could be is a 4, but then that'd have to add up to a 10, which is not Sudoku digits. So that's not a 6. That's not friendly. And this counts 1 or 2 of these. Either 4, 5, 6, or 7, or a 5 and 4 to add to 9. 4, 5, or 7. It's 4, 5, 7, or 9. It's not a 6 because of that. So that means that these can't be 6 either. Either we have a single 4 here, one of these being a 5, that a 7, or a 4-5 pair, making that a 9. That could also be 7. Can't be a 7, actually, because then that would add up to at least a 10. So yeah, 4, 5, 7, or 9. If that were a 4, then you couldn't have a 7 anywhere along here. This would add to at least 11. That would have to be a 7, which is looking at 6 over here. But then where the hell are you going to place a 1 along any of those arrows? 1 goes either there, there, or in that box. Also, that can't be a 1. So those are not friendly. One of those 3 is friendly. So that can't exist. This can't be a 4. So that's not a 4, it's not a 9 either. This is a 5 or a 7. One of them could be a friendly 7 over there. If this is a 7, that's a 9. If this were a 7, which makes that a 7, then that would be a 9. And that would be a 9. Okay. If that were a 6, that'd be a 9. Otherwise, this is a 6. This is going to see a 1 over here somewhere. That's for sure. Because it's looking at all those cells with the arrows. So it's a 1 and a 2 that it sees in this box. So it sees 3 there. It's going to need to see at least 1 more over here, because this can't be a 3. This isn't a 4. Because you can't see just 1 more over here. The lowest could be as a 7, I think. Yeah, because 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Or a 4 along the column. 5 along there. That box. So the lowest it could be is a 4. Definitely can't see a 6 friendly cell. No, it could. It could. You can still see a 6. It's the highest it can see. It is, though, because the 4 can't go there. Can't go there. So along the column, it has to go somewhere over there, which just means it does see a 4. And that's the only one it can see. Now, if you had another one, the lowest it could be is a 5, that's already 9, with 2 more, with 3 more as a 12. So it has to be a 4, making this a 7. These are no longer 7, this is a 7. This is not friendly. This can still be friendly. No, it can't, because there's a 6 over here. So that's unfriendly. This is 1, 8, or 9. Excuse the crying in the backgrounds. There's a 4 and a 6 over here somewhere. Do-do-do, do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do. Number 9. Do-do-do-do-do-do. What's now? I mean, that's not a 4. It would be friendly, and this would see 12. So 4 is one of those cells. I guess. Seven can still go anywhere in that cage that's not there. And by cage, I mean box. Uh, I mean, we know one of those is a 9. But that doesn't matter. I would love for that to be a 6, making that a 9. If this was a 4 along that column, what could add up? You can't have a 3 along the column, or a 2 or a 1. Oh look, the 7's looking over here, that's a 9. There we go. There's a 7 along here. I mean, these are all unfriendly. 4 is one of those 3. This is not friendly either. Whichever of these is the 7. This can't be 1, can't be 7, can't be 9. Whichever one of these is the 7 is the last friendly cell on that row. Same for whichever of these is the 7 is the last friendly cell in that box. 7, 9, 2, 3. Can't be 9, and 2, 3 is looking at it, so it has to be a 7. That's the last friendly cell. If this is looking at 4 up here, then this is at least a 7. Could be 7 or 9. If that's a 6, then that's a 4. Otherwise, if one of those is a 4, then that's a 6. That's an 8 now. Can't be a 9, because the 9 looking at it. 9 is one of these cells along with the 1. This is 4 or 6. Nine is one of those 3 cells. What else? What else? Past a 7, it can't be. Because then that'd be a 10. So 7 is really 7. If that's a 7, and that's a 7, that's a 7. Okay. These can still be 4, 5, or 6 to be friendly. What are the possible friendly cells along this? This is a 1. This could be a 4 or a 4. This can't be 2, could be 4 or 5. This can't be 1, could be 4 or 5 as well. So we're looking at 1, 4, 5. 1, 4, 5, 6, or 9. The possibles for this. Do 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 da 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 do 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 do. If this is a 7, then it is the friendly cell along its column, which makes this a 9. Which makes that 1, 9 pair. All of these would be unfriendly, as well as that. Just make that a 9. Yeah, that works. It works suspiciously very well. So why can't this be a 5? Hmm. If that were a 5, 7, 9. Yeah, it wouldn't work. If that were a 5, then these couldn't be friendly. This would be the friendliest cell, making that a 7, making that a 9. These two are now unfriendly. And this has to add up to 5 with one of those cells, which would be a repeat of 5 in the row. So that is 1, 4, 6, or 9. If there is a 5, then it's there. Either that's a 1, making that a 6, or one of those is a 4, making that a 9. Do 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 do. If that's a 1, then that could be a 1 or a 5, a 6. Hmm. What are the possibles along these for friendly cells? This could be a 4 or a 6. Can't be a 4, though. In fact, the only friendly cell over here is 6. So that could be a 6. This, to be friendly, can't be 7, because I have to 10. These all have to be less than 6. So it's a 5 along the row. It's the only possibility. Can't be 6 because of that. This could possibly be a 5 or a 6. This is a 4, 5, or 6. Which is a 4 actually, because there's only a 4 over here. Yeah, so the possible friendlies over here are either 4, 5, or 6. 5 can't be friendly over here, because then you'd have 8, and you can't get one more for a 9. And they can't be an 8 itself. So those are not 5 to be friendly. Either it's a 6 along there. Oh, that can't be a 6. Because if that were a friendly 6, then that would be the 6 as well, making that 15. So either we have a friendly 6 here, or a friendly 4 over here, making this a 7 or a 9. Can't be a 7 because the 7 looking at it has to be a 9. So that's a 6. That's unfriendly. And now the 4 has to go here. That's friendly. These are unfriendly. These are not 9. If this were friendly, it'd be a 7. That would be a 9 then. Otherwise, this is not friendly, and this has to see one of these cells as friendly. Can just be a 2. Which could be 4, 5, or 6. Can't be both, because even if you had 4 or 5, that'd be at least 11. So this is 6, 7, 8, or 9. Excuse me. This isn't a 9. Ah, there we go. That 9 looks at that, making it not a 9. Therefore, if... Also, this is friendly. So this one has to be an 8 or a 9. These are all unfriendly. But this one can't be both of these. It would have to be a 4, 5, I am to 9. So this one has to be friendly. Make that a 1. One of those is a 9 now. One of these three is a 9. Hey, what's up? That is a 9, actually. This is a 4, 6 pair. That is a 1. This is an 8, 9 pair. This is a 9 now. It's not friendly. This could still see a 5 over here. Actually, I could see a 4 as well, making that a 5. A 6, I mean. A 5, yeah. This is either 1, 5, or 6. Oh, it can't be 5. Because you can't have a friendly cell over here. And 5 would be friendly. This is either 1, just 1 there, or a 5 here, making that a 6. This can't be 6, because that can't be a 4. But where does 4 go? Can't go there or there. Otherwise it'd be friendly. So it's one of those 3 cells. These are not friendly. Might be worth noting. Five is one of these 3 cells. Because wherever 5 goes in this box has to be friendly. 4 is one of those 4 cells for the same reason. You can't go here, because if one of those was a 4, then that'd be at least a 5. This can't be a 5, so that'd be at least one more. And that just breaks, because then it'd be a 10. So these are not 4. One of those 2 is a 4. These are not 4. So those are not. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What do I do? This could be a 4. Why did I say it couldn't be a 4? No, it can't be a 4. 4, 4. Oh, that could have been a 4. This can be a 4. I don't know why it says... Oh, there we go. That's why. Okay. This one can still be a 4. We have a 4 here and a 4 here, making a... Well, where's 4 go in this row? Can't go anywhere over here because the 4 in the box. And go over here, has to go here. That's a 4. That's a 4, that's a 6. This one can't be a 2, a 5, or a 4, so it's not friendly. If this were a 6, that'd be a 5. Where does 6 go? So many places they can go. This is 7 or 9, with a 5, 6, or a 7 to add to it. This would be 5 or 6, perhaps be 7 or 8. Otherwise, that's a 7, making that a 9. 9 goes in one of those 4 cells by Sudoku. 5 is one of those 3 cells. 6 is one of those 4. 7 is one of those 4. Ah, yes, this is not a friendly cell, so it has to be 5. So that's no longer a 7, and it's friendly. One of those 2 is a 5, which means this one is not a 5. Finally. I could have sworn that this one was going to be a 7, though. I want it to be 7. That's before I found out this, though. Mm, 7 is one of these 3 cells. Five is one of those 2 cells. So it could be either. If that's a 5, that's a 6, that's a 5. Which makes that a 7. That'd be a 9. If that's a 5, otherwise, and that's a 7. This is never a 7, I guess, then. That's not necessarily true. Well, yeah, it is. This never be an 8. Also, is this ever friendly? Can't be a 5. Could be a 7. So yes, it can be friendly. Hmm. Five and 6. Is this possibly friendly? Can't be a 1. Can't be a 6. And it can't be a 4. So no, this is not friendly. These are not friendly. Because this is C9 over here. I mean, the only thing left now is these two. If that were a 5, that would be a 1. If that were a 5, that would be a 6. So this is never an 8, I guess, then. If it were, then that would be a 6. That'd be a 1. Yeah, that'd be a 5, and that'd be a 5. Yeah, if that were a 6, that'd be a 5, that'd be a 5. And that'd be a 6. 5 and 6 looking at that cell. So this is either a 5 there, making that a 7, or a 7 there, making that a 9. Seven is one of those 3 cells. Why can't this be a 1? Why can't it be a 6? Can this be friendly? If it were a 7, yeah. Where does the 6 go in this row? Either there or there. One of those is a 3, one of those is a 9. Nine goes in one of those 3 cells. Either it's there, or that's a 7, making that a 5, making one of those a 9. So one of those cells consists of 9. This is not a 6. So where does 6 go in this column? One of those 2 cells. And it is friendly. Ah, it can't be there. Because of 7. So this is a 6, making that friendly. This is an 8, making that friendly. That's an 8, that's a 9. Therefore, 9 has to go here, because that's a 7. Friendly 7. This is not a 5 anymore. That is a 5. Friendly. That's a 5. Friendly. This is a 6. That's a 5. 4. 6. That's a 4. Not friendly. This is not friendly either. 7 is one of those 2 cells. As long as one of those 2 cells. 3 friendly. These are not 9. These are not 4. 6 has to go here along the row. That's friendly. We have all the rows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, except for the 7, 8, and 9, 7 and 9 to be placed. Columns, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 over here, 8, and 9. One of those 2's a 7 as well. And then all the boxes are placed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 over here. Yep, now the rest is just Sudoku then. Yep. Just Sudoku to go. First one of those 2 cells. First one of those 3 cells. Along this column, we have 2 and 3 to place. In this box, we have 2, 3, 7, and 8. 7 goes in one of those 2 cells. In this this column, what do we have? We have 1, 2, and 8 to place. That's on 8. One of those 2 is an 8. We also have 3 and 7 to place in this box. Neither of which are restricted. Oh, but 3 is one of those 3 cells over here. Thus, in this row, 3 has to be in one of those 2 cells. That's not a 3. Roughly the same would be true about the 7. Indeed, then it becomes slightly easier to solve. 1 is one of those 2 cells. Is down there in one of those 2 cells as well. 6 is one of those 2 cells. Do 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 boo boo do 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 boo do do do. Do 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 do. One, 2, and 7. Still a place in here somewhere. None of which are restricted. Hey dog. 2 is one of those 3 cells. This is 1, 3, or 7. That's not a 3. It's 1 or 7. That's one of those 2 cells. Something I'm missing, isn't there? I mean, that's not a 7. You know that from there. So what can this be? What's left in this row? We have 2, 3, and 7, right? That's not a 7. It's 2 or 3. Um, 6 was over there somewhere. One of those 2 cells. Those are the last 2 6s in this grid. It's one of those cells. Along this row we have 1, 2, 3, 5, and 9. Ah, there we go. There's a 9 over here looking at the cell. So this can't be 9, 7, 6, 5, 4, 2, and 1. So it has to be 3. Making that a 2 is the naked single. So that's a 3. Making this not a 3 is the 3, 9 pair. We have 1, 5, and 9 in place over here. This is a 9 then, because it's looking at 1 and 5 in the column. These two are 1 and 5, making this unfriendly. This is a 5, therefore, as a 1. 1 is one of those 3 cells. We have 4, 5, 6, and 8 to go. This is a 4, 6 pair. This is an 8 friendly. Unfriendly, actually. These are both unfriendly. This is a 5. Where does 5 go in this box? Has to go here. Unfriendly, this is a friendly 7 now. That's the last friendly cell in the grid. 7 goes over here with 1, 7, and 8. This is a 2, 4 pair, which is resolved, so is that 4. We have 3 to go and 2, 6. This is not a 3. This is a 4, 6, 6, 2, 1, 3. This is a 2, 7 pair. It can't be a 2, so it is a 7. That's a 2. That's a 7. 1, 3. These are 2 and 8, which is resolved. This is not 8 anymore. This is not a 1. This is not a 7. This is a 1, 8 pair, which is resolved because that 8. 7, 1, 7, 3, 9. And finally, we have 2 and 8 to place. And we're done. Nice. Pretty nice puzzle. Got a little bit stuck at certain places, but definitely, if I saw it faster, it would have gone faster. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Alright, next one. The daunting one. Adaptation. Normal Sudoku rules apply to both grids. Cages. All cages are either killer cages or look and say cages. Each cage is of one type in one grid, and the other type in the other grid. Killer. Digits in a cage cannot repeat and must sum to the given total. Look and say. A two-digit clue, xy, means that the digit y appears exactly x times within the cage. Example given. A 3-4 clue means that the cage contains 3 4s. Thank you. But, yeah, thank you. I shall take the compliments. Okay, so, one of these grids, both of these grids we have to solve. And for each cage, one of them is a normal killer cage. So 13 would be 3 cells adding up to 13, which could be a 9, 3, and a 1. Or, alternatively, on the other side, we have a look and say cage, which is saying there's 1, 3 in that cage. Doesn't say anything about it being one or the other, so you could have both them. Like, this could be a 931, fulfilling both the look and say and the killer cage. Like, 931 over here would fulfill a 1-3 and a 13. However, I don't suspect that's going to happen. Alright, let's get into it. Okay, one of these is an 8-9 pair. The other one's a 7. Also, what is ever going to differentiate the two grids? Does it matter which one I place as the other? all cages are either killer cages or look and say cages. Each cage is of one type in one grid, and the other type in the other grid. So is ever going to differentiate the two grids? Is there always going to be two cases? Two different answers? Like this one could be 8, 9, and that one could be 1, 7. Or the other way around. This one being 1, 7, and that one being 8, 9. And no matter which one I define for one grid, it will work no matter which grid I define it for. Maybe there's some way to differentiate later. I remember Gemini, that puzzle, having some way to differentiate it. Because there were red cells, or modifier cells, that was one of each in each type of grid that helped differentiate it. Well, let me see if I can pull it up. My solution is not saved because my browser is refreshed. But yeah, no, in that grid there were circles that made it possible to differentiate. So I'm not sure how this one's going to differentiate. I'll just assume that they want us to just assume one is one grid and the other is the other. And so I'll make this one starting as 17 and that one as 7. So this one can't be two 7s. Otherwise, the 7s would be in a diagonal pattern, and it would break that cage. So this has to be 2, 7 over here, making this a 27. Now that one can't be 2 7s, so this one has to be 2 7s, making that a 27 cage. I'll make look and say cages yellow, and killer cages as pink. No, I'll make killer cages red, and look and say cages blue. Red for killer. Killers do blood, I guess. And blue for look and say, because you look over at the ocean. What a dumb way to remember it. Whichever of these is the look and say, 3/8, would make those two as 8s. Could you not have an 8 and a 27 killer cage? If there were no 8 here, the max that could be... There's no 7 as well. So, actually, what is 9865? 11, 20, 28. There's 1 degree of freedom there, so it has to be 4, 6, 8, 9. Has to be the killer cage for each of these. 4, 6, 8, 9. So this one over here cannot be an 8, a 3, 8. Look and say. Otherwise, every single cell along here would be seen by an 8, which is impossible. So this has to be look and say 8 cage. And that is the 8 over there. This is killer. How many cells are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are 3 cells adding up to 7 that are not in the cage, right? Because 45 minus 38 is 7. Yeah. So 1, 2, and 4 are not in this cage. Oh my gosh, kid, why are you screaming? So this is a 987653 cage. These are not 7. Why are you screaming? One of these is a 5-5. Hey kid, what's up? Why is Alden screaming?
I want to play Roblox Fun, but AC is scarring his face on me.
He's doing what?
Scarring his face on my phone.
Oh.
That's why I want to play a game on my phone.
Well, you can't take Alden's phone.
Auden doesn't have his phone. Dad has it.
Well, stop trying to steal it from him.
Dad has his phone and he has Auden's phone.
Yeah. Well, stop making him scream, okay?
Wait, you can play Cess with Dad?
Yep. Alright, go away. Let's go. Hey, stop growling at him. I don't know why, but this dog hates the kids. This is either a 5 or a 9-6. Because it can't be 8-7. Yeah. They're cute if not annoying. This can't be a 2-8 over here. Because then that would have to be an 8s, and it would clash with that. So this is look and say 2 8s. And that is a killer 28s. That's an 8, and one of those 2s is an 8s. Which makes this an 8, and that a 9, and that an 8s. $28 and 4 cells. Could be 9874 or 9865. There is always an 8 there, though. Has to be one of those 3 cells. There's also always a 9. Oh, also, this 8, these 8s are looking at this cage, which makes that an 8s. Which means that's not an 8s. This cell over here is looking at all of those cells in that cage, so it has to be 1, 2, or 4. This is not an 8. This is not a 9. These are not 8 either, and that's not a 9. 8 either goes here. This is not an 8. So this is an 8. And now this is an 8. One of those 2 is a 9, as well as one of those 2. Making a pair along this column and this box. I wonder what book of love. One of these is 3-7, making that a configuration of 7s. Whichever one is the 3-7. If that's the 3-7, then that could still be a 1-7. If that's the 3-7, then that's the 1-7. Hey, dog. Stop growling at him. What's up?
AC says Dortmund von calling Lisa.
AC stole your phone to call Teresa?
Yeah.
Well, you didn't steal it. It's all yours.
Wait, I was playing a Lego game and then I wanted my phone to play a baby game.
A baby game?
Yeah, there was baby games. There was a baby game on my phone.
Really?
And I can have it also. It's on.
I see. uh, 1, 3, or 13. 13 can be 9, 4. It can't be 8, 5, or 7, 6 over here. So either we have 9, 4 here, or this can't be 8, 5, or 7, 6, so this would have to be 9, 4. So one of those is a 9, 4, the other one is a 3. One of these is, this one can't be 2, 6. Because if it were 2, 6, those two would be 6, and that would break this cage over here. So this one has to look and say 2 6s. Which makes this a killer 26. Hmm. 26 has even more freedom than 28. It doesn't need a 9 on it. It could be 8, 7, 6, 5. This 2, 7 over here is looking over here. So this can't be a 3, 7. It would have to be there, there, and there, which should break over here. So this one is the 3, 7 look and say. And this one is the killer look. This is the killer cage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. An 8 killer cage that adding up to 37 means that 8 is missing from it. The number 8. Which means that is an 8. So that can't be a 2, 5 killer look and say clue. You'd have 2 5s over here looking at each other. So that is a 2, 5 over here. And that is a killer 25. Also, these are 7s for the look and say. This can't be look and say anymore because there can't be a 7 in it. So this is the look and say. And that's a killer. This is not a 7. These are not 5 anymore. One of these two is a 5. This adds up to 17, which can be done any number of ways in 3 cells. This is either 9 forged or single 3. Same for that. 6, 9 or a single 5. Where does 8 go in this box? By Sudoku, it goes there. So this is a 7 or a 5 to complete the 1, 5, or 15 clue. That's not a 7, neither is that. So those two are 7s, because there has to be a 7 in this cage. Meaning this is a 5, and that is look and say clue. That is the killer clue, making a 6-9 pair. So this is not 2-9 anymore, because there has to be a 9 here. This has to be the 2-9, look and say clue. This is the killer cage. So there's a 9 over here, and a 9 over here. It's either 9-5 or a single 4. This is 9-5-8-6 or a single 4. Na, 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 na. Na, na, na. Na, 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 na. That works well. If this were a 4, this would add up to 13. If this were a 1, this would add up to 16, which would be 7-9, which is not possible. If it were a 2, this would add up to 15, which would have to be 6-9. And if it were a 4, then this would add up to 13, which could be 9-4, 8-5, or 7-6. Can't be 8-5 or 7-6, it has to be 9 something. So this is a 9, 6, or 4. This is a 4 because it can't be a 6. That's a 6-9 pair. This 6 or 9 goes here in that cage. This is a 1-2-4. Triple in that box. Hmm. 7 is one of those two cells. 8 is one of those two cells. 8 goes in one of those two cells. 12 is in one of those three cells. This is not a 7 anymore. Well, it could never be a 7. This is not a 9, so this is a 9. 9 is one of these four cells. Can this be a 9-4? That'd be a 9, that'd be a 4. Yeah, it could. It could also be a 3. Although, if this were a 9, that'd make that a 9. We should make this an 8-7-6-5. Which I really want to be the case. So why is it not the case? I only see a reason why it can't be the case. What is 29? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a 6-cell clear cage. There are 3 digits in there that do not add up to 16. One of them is a 6 or a 9, because it sees all cells. If it were a 6, there'd be 2 more cells adding up to 10, which could be 1928 or 37. If it were a 9, it would be 2 more cells adding up to 7. Could be 1625 or 34. Hmm. Da, da, da.
Mom,
What's up?
I'm the same.
Yep.
AC's keeping my phone.
Why don't you ask your mom to take care of it?
Mom is doing what?
So am I. I'm streaming.
What?
I'm streaming.
I'm gonna give my phone back.
You have to wait for now. Could you get me a cracker? Or a graham cracker? Or a bar? Yeah, a bar. Could you give me a bar from the fridge?
Get balls.
A bar, yeah.
But I can't get those.
You can't? Okay. Silly goose. One of these is a 1. 1, 1. The other has to add to 11. Because it's added to 11. It couldn't be 9, 2. It couldn't be 8, 3. It could be 7, 4, but it cannot be 5, 6. So it had to be 7, 4 if this were a killer cage. Which it very well could be. If this were a killer, then these 6 cells have to add up to 37. Which is very much possible. Even with a 2. Huh. Wakanayo. There is a 6-9 pair over here. Which is looking down over here. But these cages are entirely unhelpful. I mean, the 9 over here makes one of those two have to be a 9. That's something. Uh, 7 is in this cage over here. So if that were a killer cage, then to add up to 13, it would need 6 more, which could be 1, 5, or 2, 4. Both of which work. Do 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 do. Hmm. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. This could still be a 9 and 4. So could that in that specific layout. 9 there, 4 there. Same for that one, 9 there, 4 there. Otherwise, there's a 3 somewhere over there. 7 is looking over here into that cage. There's a 7 in that cage. There is a 7 in this cage as well somewhere. Can't be there, so it has to be one of those two cells. Does there have to be an 8 in this 29 cage? If there wasn't, then there'd have to be 2 more adding up to 8s, which could not be 1 7. It would have to be 2 6. Because this one has to be outside of the cage, and it can only be a 6 or a 9. In fact, 8 can't be part of this cage. 8 can't go here. 8 can't go there because there's 8 in that cage, and it can't go here because of that row. So 8 is outside of this cage and has to have 2 more cells adding up to the 8s because there's 3 cells adding up to 16 outside of this cage. Which has to be a 6 here and a 2 as well. 6, 9, 2. So this can't be a 9 and 4, this one has to be a 9 and 4. Making that a 3. This is a killer, this is looking to say. That's a 9, therefore this is a 6, that's a 9. None of these are 9. That's not a 9. This is a 9. 2 more adding up to 8, which can't be 4 4 because you can't repeat digits in a killer cage. So this is a 6 2. That's a 1 4 pair. These are not 6. 6 goes in one of these 3 cells. That makes that 6 8 9 triple. That's not a 9. The rest of the digits in this box are 1 2 3 and 4. No, this is not a 9, that's not a 9. This is a 9. Doctor, doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of loving you. This is a 1 2 3 and 5. That's the rest of the digits in that row. These are not 5. One of those two is a 5. This is either a 7 4 pair or just a 1 somewhere in that cage. Five does not go there. Has to go up here. 5 is one of those two cells. Making one of those two cells. This can't be 9 5 or 8 6. So it has to be the look and say clue. That has to be the killer cage. Can't be 8 6, has to be 9 5. That's not a 9 anymore. Now there's that. One of those two is a 9. One of those two making a X-wing along there. So none of those can be an 8. 9 has to be 8 7 6 5. Those two are not 8s. One of those two is an 8. This can't be 9, 2, can't be 8, 3, can't be 5, 6, it would have to be 7, 4, or 1. There's a 7 there, and a 4 there. This is not a 7, because that's 7 over there. One of those two is an 8. If this is killer, then that's 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. Leaving 4, 6, 7, 9. Woof. Woof, it says. This could still be a 7, 4 or a 6, 5. This is not a 4, it's a 1, that's a 4. We have 1, 2, 3, and 6 to go. We can add 2, this is 1, 3, and 6. That's a 7. That's a 7. This is a 4. That's a 3, that's a 6. ST cells are 1 and 2. That's not a 4. This is 3 and 6. On them that fear him. This is an 8, so that's not an 8. That is an 8 now. 8 then has to go here. If this was 13, a killer cage, this had to add to 5, which is 1, 2, 3, or 4. And it cannot have a 3 in there, because that 3. So that's not 1, 3. This one is the killer, the look and say 1, 3. I mean, this is a killer. And it has to add up to 5, which can't be 2, 3, it has to be 1, 4. Ah, yeah, there we go. This can't be 7, 4. This can't be 9, 2, 8, 3, or 5, 6. It can't be 7, 4, because there's a 7 looking at this cell, and a 7 looking at that cell. So this one has to be a 1, 1. Look and say, making this the killer 11, which has to be 7, 4. This is not a 2. One of those two is a 2. One of those is a 9. Can't be that one. And that's not a 9. One of those is a 9 now. Makes that not a 9. Makes that a 9. Wait a minute. That's wrong. That's completely wrong, in fact. Because this has to have a 9 in it. It's missing 2, 6, and 8. So the 9 has to go there, which makes that not a 9, which makes that a 9, that a 9. Woof woof, the dog says. One and 4 have to go in this cage somewhere. Over there. Could have told that from that. Looking into the box. What else is there in this cage? A 3 and a 5. So this is 3, 5, and 9. This adds up to 11. 7, 4, or 5, 6. Can't be 7, 4, it has to be 5, 6. That's not a 5, therefore it has to be 3, 9. There is a 5 up here with the 1, 4, and 7. This is a 3, therefore that's not a 3. 2 has to go here. This is a 2, 7 pair. These are not 7, therefore. This is a 7, that's a 7 now. 5, 6, 8, 5, 7, 1, 4 pair. 5, 6. 3 goes here. Then we have 4 and 5 to go. As well as a 1. This is not a 7, so these two are 7s. This is not a 7, that is a 7. One of those 3 is a 7. This can't be 2 4s, because that would be a 4 and that would be a 4, which it cannot be. So this is a killer cage. This is 2 4s. One is a 4, one of those is a 4. That's a 1 now, that's a 4. Oh, wait, never mind. 4 and 5 is still ambiguous. If this is a 1, 9, that's the 9 over there, right there. If that's a 1, 9, it could still go anywhere. One, 3, 4, 7. This is one. What's this? 1, 3, or 4? In fact, it has to have a 4 in it, which can't go there. So let's go there. 4 then has to go in one of those 2 cells. That's not a 4. This is not a 7. One of those 2 is a 3. This is not a 6. 9, 7, 6, 5, 4. 1, 2, and 3 left to go. This is also 1, 2, or 3. And those 2 cells are those 2 cells. The same. 24 and 5 cells is very durable in any number of ways. Something I can do with this grid over here. One of those is a 9. 5 is one of those 2 cells. These 2 digits go over here somewhere. Excuse me. Where does 7 go in this box? One of those 2 cells. How about in this cage, which it has to be in? Can't go there, can't go there or there. Can't go there, has to go there. Okay. That's something. How about 9 or 5? 9's one of those 3 cells. And 5 is one of those 2 cells. Can't be there, has to be there. 9 has to go there then. So that's a 9, that's a 3. Um, 6. Can you place anywhere? 1, 2, and 3, 4 as well. Ugh. Bot. And okay, what else? We have 1, 2, 3 to go in this column. Ruff, ruff, that dog says. And he annoys me so much. Nine is one of those 3 cells. 5, it goes in one of those 2 cells in that box, making that a 5, that a 9. 9 goes in one of those 2 cells now. They're not usually that yappy. Like, they will be during a specific time, and they don't really like each other, so if they ever go near each other, then they'll yap at each other. But, like, usually it just means that, like, they see another dog, such as the dog that's in the same house as them, or they're yelling at one of their kids, or sometimes they need to go pee. However, it's a different bark than that one for the pee. But yeah, yappy dogs really are the worst. Maybe there's something I can do in this grid. 5 can go anywhere. 6 can go in those 3 cells. I mean, really, it is just this left to go. 9 is one of those 2 cells. So 8 and 9 is a pair there, making that a 7. So this is at least 15. You can't get 4 in 3 cells. So this is the killer, this is the look and say, making that have to be a 9, that an 8. So this is 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. That's the 8 now. This is a 3. This is 1, 2, and 5. Making that a 4, that a 5. The rest in this row have to be 1, 4, and 6. 1 goes there, this is 4 or 6. This is 4, 6, or 9. 6 has to go here. That's a 4. That's a 6. That's a 4. This is 4 and 9. So that's not a 4. This is a 9. That's a 4. That's a 9. Then we have 2, 3, and 6 to go here. So that's a 6. This is a 2, 3 pair. One, 2, 3, and 4 to go here. That's not a 1. One of those 2 is a 6. Has to be that one. 6 has to go there now. 6 has to go there in that box. This is 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's not a 1. This is 14. Has to add to 11 more. Could be, it can't be 9, 2 because the 9 there. Can't be 8, 3. Has to be 7, 4. Can't be 5, 6. So that's a 7, that's a 2. This is not a 2 anymore. This is 1, 2, or 4. One of those 2 is a 3. That's not a 3. One of those 2 is a 3. Those 2 are not a 3. One of those 2 is a 4. Yeah, really there's just 2 grids to do now. That's Sudoku. This is 5, 1, and 9. 1, 5, and 9. To go in that row. That's not a 5. That's not a 5. What 3 has to go in this cage, you can't go there, so this has to be a 3. This is not a 3. This 1 or 2 goes up there with a 9. And thus... Oh wait, this is just a 2 because the 4 is looking at it. 2, 1, 4. That's a 1, 9 pair, making that has to be a 2. These are not 2 anymore. This one's a 2. 2, 3. That's a 4, that's a 3. This is a 1, 5 pair. One of those 2 is a 9. So we have 1, 3, and 5 to go over here. This one's a 4, this one's a 1. This is not a 5. 1, 3, 9 pair makes that a 2. 1, 5 pair remaining. This is a 1, 5, 9. One of those 2 is a 9, so it has to be that one. 9, 1. Never mind, that's a 3. Never mind. But this 1, 9 pair makes that a 3. So now that is a 1, 5, 9 pair, making that a 9. And that a 1, and that a 5, and that a 5, and that a 1. So this one has to be 2 and 3 to complete that box. 1, 9, 1, 4, 1, 5, and that grid is complete. Now for this one, along this column we have 2, 3, and 5. That's not a 5. Oh my god, Josh, shut up, please. This is an 8, 7 pair. That could be an 8, never mind. But this 1, 7, and 8, that's a 7. This is a 1, 8 pair. That's not a 7. So this is a 7. This is 1, 2, or 3. The rest of the digits in this box is 1, 2, 3, and 5. This is a 2, 5 pair. 1, 3 pair. This is a 1, 2, 3 triple, so that's a 5. That's a 2. One of those is a 2. One of those is a 2, therefore. And those are not 2. This is a 5. This is a 7. That's a 4. That's a 4. This is a 1 or a 3. That's a 1, 2, 3 triple on that column, so that's a 6. That's a 3. That's not. Those are not 3s now. One of those 2 is a 3. This is a 1, 2 pair, making that a 4. It's not a 4 anymore. This is a 9. 6, 8 pair. This is a 4 now, making that a 6. One of those 2 is a 3. One of those is a 3, so that's a 3. 2, 5. 5 is one of those 2 cells. This is 1, 2, or 3, not a 2. 6 has to go here. Why can't this be a 6? It can be still. I was wrong in giving that a 6, but this one is a 6 now. That's an 8. That's an 8, that's a 1. That's not a 1 anymore. This is a 3, 2, 5. These two are not 2s anymore. 5 is one of those 2 cells. And what else was completing this puzzle? This is a 1, 2, 5 pair, I guess. This is a 2, 3, 6 triple, I guess. So what's completing this? How does this finish? What? Am I missing something? Oh, this 24 cage. 10, 23, one more to get to 24. 1, 2, 3. That's a 2, 3, 1, 3. That's not a 2, that's a 1, 5 pair. These are not 1s anymore, it's a 3, 5 pair. That's a 1, 2 pair, 3, 1, 1, 2. And to finish this off, I must find something. Oh, there we go. That's a 1, that's a 2, that's a 1. It's a 1, 5, 5, 3, 3, 6, 6, 2. There we go. But it says it's correct. Oh, thank you, thank you. How many left? Let's see. Thank you, thank you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 puzzles left to do. So let's go on to the next one. Willow. Oh yeah, true. Yeah. I know with the first one, there wasn't an arbitrary solution because of the circles. Does yours have an arbitrary solution? Ah, I see, I see. Well, arbitrary solutions aren't terrible. Let's see then. Let's go on to Willow. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Digits cannot repeat within a cage. Digits along an arrow sums a digit in a circle. Adjacent digits on a green line differ by 5 or more. Digits on a purple line comprise a set of non-repeating consecutive digits in any order. So just normal rules for Windoku, Renbans, arrows, and German whispers. And this is a Windoku puzzle. So there's going to be something about digits not repeating along these, along those, and along those, as well as this being an extra set. Should I prove that, or do you guys care? Do you guys not care, I guess I should ask. These are at least a 6, because it's 3 cells, which has to be at least 1, 2, 3. 7, 8, and 9 can't go there. So along this S region over here, one of them at least is going to have to go on this over here. This can't be a 9. Because if this were a 987, then there'd have to be like a 6 here for the highs. And not only does that break over here with 2 1s, it breaks this cell over here. So 9 has to go over here. How about 8s? 8 is the same thing. Because you could have either 987 or 876. Either way, you have 4 of 2789 over here, breaking this German Whisper over here. So 8 also has to go here, making that an 8-9 pair. Which means this has to be 765. Making that 8-9, and that an 8-9 as well. Which means this is 1, 2, 3, or 4. As well as that, this is 1, 2, or 3. Can't be a 4, these both would be 9. So this is from 1, 2, 3, and 4, has to have a 4 on it. This can't be a 6. It's 7, 8, or 9. This can't have 7, 8, 9 on it. This can't be a 9. One of those has to be a 9. This for 9, this would be 9, 8, 7, breaking that cell. If this were a... also, these two are 1, 2, 3, and 4. But if this were an 8, then it would be 8, 7, 6, which would make that a 9. Which would make that an 8, but that does not break. This is either 98765 or 87654. Those Canaan days we used to know, where have they gone? Where did they go? I mean, if that were a 9, then one of those would be a 9. Whatever this is, 7, 8, or 9, it has to go over here. Along this extra region over here. Because it can't go on a 3-cell arrow. 712 has up to 10, at least. So it would have to go here. And then along this extra region, it would have to go here. So in this box, it can't go in any of those cells, which we also could have just told because this can't go there or on the arrow. And it can't go there, so it goes in one of those cells. One of those is at 7, 8, 9. This 8, 9 is similar. 2 of 7, 8, or 9 has to definitely go here. This has to at least have a 7 on it. So this can't be a 7. If it were, there'd be 7 here, there'd be 8 here, and then there'd have to be 7 here, breaking that cell. So this is an 8, 9 pair, making those two 8, 9, somewhere over there. Which makes this a 5, 6, 7. This is a 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is either 8676 or 765. But definitely has a 6 and 7 on it. Do 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 do. Where have they gone? Where did they go? Head beyond, raise your berries to those Canaan days. Huh. We know this one is this one. This one has to go up here somewhere. Can't go there. Also, this 8, 9 is looking up here, has to go there. Whichever one it is. The other does go here. So those cannot be 8, 9. Neither can that. 8, 9 is one of those two cells in that box. That pink 8, 9. Which means over here it has to be that one. That's pink 8, 9. And thus, it has to go over here on this line. Along this window queue, it has to go here. It has to go in one of those cells. Hmm. If if these both are low, 1, 2, 3, and 4, we know that this has to contain at least 2 of 1, 2, 3, and 4. Otherwise you'd have 1, 4, 5, which is 10, which does not work. So you'd have 1 of 1, 2, and 3. And so one of these would have to be a 4, making that a 9, making that an 8. Which could have worked 1, 2, 5 or 1, 3, 4. Although it couldn't be 1, 3, 4. So it'd have to be 1, 2, 5. Yeah. With a 3, 4 there, and a 9 there. So this would be a 3, 4 with a 9 there. Otherwise, you have 2 of 2, 7, 8, 9, and a 1, 2, 3 there. No, 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 no. Boo, boo, doo, boo. Boo, doo, doo, doo. No, no. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. I should stop singing before I get striked. This is from the choices of 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and 2, which is too many options. Well, it's 6 options. Yeah, it's too many options. It can't be 2 actually, because 2, 3, 4 breaks these cells. So it is 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7. If 4 goes there, making that a 9. This is 5, 6, 7. So well, we know that we have 3 digits of 1, 2, 3, 4 staring at this group cells. So at least one of these is a 3 or a 4. That's it. There we go. If this is a 4, that's a 5, 6, 7. And there's 2 more of 1, 2, 3, 4 over here, which breaks over here. So that's not a 4. One of those 2 is a 4. And this is a 6, 5, 4, or a 5, 4, 3. Always contains a 4 on it. And a 5 as well. 5 is one of these 2 cells. Hmm. Ba-do-do-do-do-do-do. Sorry, checking Discord real quick. Alright, back to this. There's 1 of 1, 2, 3, 4 here to complete this Windoku. So there are 3 1, 2, 3, 4s in this box. And this has to have 2 of 1, 2, 3 on it, at least. Well, at most, because they are 9. And so 1's here, 1's here. And that completes the 1, 2, 3, 4 for the box. Which makes this a 5, 6, or 7. One of these is a 7, because those are not 7. This is not a 7 anymore. Do not do that. 7, therefore, has to go here. These are no longer 7. That's not a 7. There is a 1, 2, 3, as well as a 5, 6 here. There's a 5, 6 pair along this column. So, either we have 3, 4 with a 9 there, or 7, 8, 9 with a 1, 2, or 3 there. But 4 can't go here because the 4 there. So where does it go along this column? Can't go up there. Can't go here, it has to be here. Can't go there because then these 2 would be 9. So yeah, this is a 3, 4 pair with a 9 here. I mean, that's pink. That's not. That is. These 2 are yellow. That's pink. That's pink. This is yellow, has to be 8. That's not yellow. Yep. We can put all pinks as 9. All yellows as 8. So this is not a 6 up here. This is a 6. This is a 1, 2, 5 triple. These are not 7. I erased the wrong digit. Same for that one. This is a 7, therefore. This is not. 8 goes in one of those 2 cells. Where does it go? Yeah, one of those 2 cells. In that column. 7 goes in one of those 3 cells in that column. Thus, 7 can't go there, has to go here. You could have told that because of the column or just Sudoku on the box. 5 and 6 go here. This is 1, 2, 3, or 4. This has to be 2, 3, 4 maximally to get to 9. So this one is a 1. Doesn't really change much. This is not 8. This is not a 7. The rest in this row is 2, 3, or 6. That's not a 6, it's 2 or 3. One of these is a 9, that's not a 9. This is 1, 2, 3, or 9. These are no longer 8s. 8 goes in one of those 3 cells. These form an extra region of digits, so that's not a 6. So this has to be 4, 5, 6. You could have also told because the 6 does not go there, or there has to go there. 2, 3, and 4 makes this a 2 and 3. And this is a 1, 7, 8. Triple. That's not an 8. This is a 5. These are no longer 2 or 3. It's a 1, 4 pair. No. 8 goes in one of those 2 cells. In this box goes in one of those 2 cells. What else? What else? Along this, we have 2 of 1, 2, 3, 4, and the other of 5, 4, 8. Both of which seem to work. Ooh, VR chat. Nice. There was an old farmer who sat on the dock. 7 does not go there. If this is 1, 2, 3, or 4. Oh, this dog. Why must he persist? 3 can't go here, because it's already there. And they can't go up there. So it has to go here, making that a 2. And thus, where does 3 go? In this column, can't go there, can't go there, has to be one of those 3 cells. This is not 1, 2, 1 or 2. 5 can't go here, or there. Actually, 5 goes there, so 5 can't go here. This has to be 6, 7, 8. Thus, 8 cannot repeat along this over here. This has to be 3, 4, 9. 3, 4 there, 9 there. Is that 9? We can finish coloring with 9s. 8 goes in one of those 3 cells, one of those 2 cells. That cell over here, which makes that an 8. That is 6, that is 7. That a 5, that is 6, that a 5, that is 6. One of those 2 is an 8, therefore that's an 8. One of those 2 is a 5, so one of those 2 is a 5. 6 is one of those 2 cells, one of those 2 cells over here. It's one of those 2, wait a minute. No, 6 does not go there or there. It can't repeat this Windoku, so it has to go here. This is a 1, that's a 4. These 2 are 5, 6, and 7. This is 1 and 3. And so. The rest of the digits in this cage are 2, 4, 5, 6, and 7. This cannot be 4 or 6. Could be 2, 5, or 7. The rest of the digits over here are 1, 2, and 5. Hmm. 4 goes in one of those cells, as well as 7. Both of which seem to work though. This is not a 7, so one of those 2 is a 7. And thus, in this cage, has to go there with the 5. That's not a 7, therefore, one of those 3 is a 7. There has to be a 2 in here, so that's not a 2. One of those 2 is a 2, so that's not a 2. This is 1, 2, 3, or 4. One of those 3 is a 2. 1 does not go here. Has to be one of those 3 cells. 3 has to be one of those 3 cells. If this is a 3, then that's a 3. Otherwise, this is a 3, and that's a 3, and that's a 3. But that does not do anything for me. 1, 2, 3, 5, 7 to go. Can't be a 5. Just for a 5, that'd be a 5. So 5 is one of those, I guess I could say. Also, this is a 6 as well as 2, 3, or 4. Could it be a 3? If that were a 3 over. Oh, wait, no, it can't because there is a 3 there. This is 2, 4, or 6. It's just Sudoku. We just have Sudoku left. This is 1, 2, 3, or 4. This is not a 5, so this one is a 5. This is not a 9. This is 1, 2, 3, or 4. Milk teacup, short and stout. I'm missing a Sudoku somewhere. Can't be that far off. Because we're done with all the line logic. Something else forcing on these lines. One, two, three, or seven. Oh, this isn't a 4. That's something. 4 is one of those 2 cells. One of these is a 1. Oh, this can't be a 1. If this were a 1, then where would 1 go in this cage? It couldn't. So 1 is one of those 3 cells. If it goes there, then it goes there. Otherwise, it goes there. Surely I don't have to color, do I? The reason 4 is in some way. One of those 2 is a 2. This 2, 3, or 4, as well as this 1 or 3, goes over there somewhere. Nandeshoka. Woof woof, the dog says. I gotta stop saying that. Hmm. Hey, these are on 5. There's a 5 looking at it. There is a 6 here. That's not a 6. So these are 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is 2, 3, 4, 6. One of these cells is a 1. I can't believe this puzzle still has a fight left in it. Hmm. That's loud. Who's playing music that loud? One of these is a 2, so that's not a 2. So that makes one of these two a 2. Oh my gosh. That's my nephew's, isn't it? It has to be. I need to get some soundproofing for my room. Although, does it work the other way around? If you soundproof your room, does it make noise not go in as well? I wonder. I am so stuck on this puzzle. What am I missing? It has to be some sort of weird Sudoku. If this is a 1, then one of those is a 1. One, 2. Well, I'll be right back and tell him to stop making that noise. And I'm also going to get a bar. Okay, I have returns. I have my bar, and it is lower for them. No idea why they put it out in the first place, but whatever. That's why I'm never having kids. Let's see. I have been missing something over here. 3 makes that a 1. Should make that a 1. Otherwise 2 makes one of those a 2. That were a 3. That'd be an 8. That'd be a 1. That'd be a 1. As well as that. Yeah, this is just bifurcation at this point. What elegant step am I missing? I don't think filling out all the options is gonna help. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Just over pencil marked grid. I might do this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 though. 1, 2, 3, 7. For here would make that a 4. And that a 4. As well as that a 4. So this can never be a 4. If that were a 4, then the 4 would go down here, making that a 4 and that a 4, and then this is broken. So 4 is one of these 3 cells, so that's not a 4. If that were a 4, then that'd be a 4. Which does work. If this were a 3, that'd be a 1. If this were a 3, that'd be a 3, and that'd be a 1. So this is always a 1, making that a 2. There we go. Finally. Oh my gosh. So that's a 1. That's a 1. That's a 3. That's a 4. That's a 2. That's a 4. That's a 3. These are no longer 4s. This is a 2, 6 pair, making that a 3. That's a 2. That's not a 3. This is a 3. That's an 8. That's an 8. We can finish the coloring now. This is a 1, 7 pair. That's a 3. Oops. It's a 3, that's a 1. It's a 1, that's a 7. It's a 7, that's a 5. That's a 5, that's a 4. It's a 4, that's a 2. That's a 6. 6, 2. These are no longer 2s. This is 5, 7, and 4. It's a 3, 4 pair, so that's not a 3. This is not a 2, this is a 1, 5, 7 pair. This is not a 1. Got a little flurry. This is 1 or 7. Can't be 1. Has to be 7. 7, 1 there. 5, 7. These are no longer 7s. 4, 5 pair. 2, 1. Those are not 2s. One of those 2 is a 2, which is that one now, because of that 2 up there. So that's a 5. This is 3, 4, 6. That's a 5. That's a 4. That's not a 4. That's a 7. That's a 6. That's a 3, 6, 4, 4, 3, and 3. There we go. It was literally just the 3s over here. Alright, well, I'm not too upset for not seeing that for a while. Maybe a little bit. It was a good puzzle, though. I think I have time for like one more. Let me just check. Yeah, I should be able to do one more. 5 in one day is not too bad. The specials. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Every cage has the same sum, and no two cages contain the exact same set of digits. Digits cannot repeat in a cage. Okay. Okay. That makes sense. What's the lowest cage we have is a 2. Highest is a 4. So, how many 2 cages do we have? 1, 2, 3. We have 3 dominoes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 tetrominoes. And 3 quads. Well, the quads can't be 10 or 11. They can't be 12, because there's only 2 ways of adding up to 12 in 4 digits. 1, 2, 3, 6, and 1, 2, 4, 5. So it has to be at least the 13. Which does work. 9, 4, 8, 5, 7, 6. It can't be anything more. No. Because even if it's a 14, you can only have 14 in 2 digits. 9, 9, 5, 8, 6. And it's even worse for anything above that. So it has to be a 14. 9, 4, 8, 5, 7, 6 are these 3 dominoes. And so 13 is the cage total. The specials, if you will. 6 different ways of variance to 13, huh? So this is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is the third one over here that's looking at it. This is 1, 2, or 3. If this did not have another 1, 2, 3 on it, it had to be 4, 5, 6 with a 1 there, which is 16, which is too much. So this has to be 1, 2, 3. A second of 1, 2, or 3. Also, every single way of adding up to 13 is 1, 2, 4, 9 as one of them. Right? No. 1, 2, 3, 7 is 13. 1, 2, 4, 6. Or 1, 3, 4, 5. Those are the 3 different ways to add up to 13 in 4 digits. So, we have 4, 5, 6, or 7. It's not 1, 2, 3, 7, so it is 4, 5, or 4, 6. This definitely has a 4 in it. So that's not a 4, 9. It is 5, 6, or 7, 8. There's a 5, 6 pair here. So this is 7, 8, 9. So this one is a 7, making this a 1, 2, 3. This is not 6, 7 anymore. This is 5, 8, making that a 9. So this is 4, 6, making that a 1, 3 pair. Well, sorry, 1, 2 pair. And so this one is 1, 3, 4, 5. And that's done. This is a 1, that's a 3, 4, 5, that's a 1, 2. This is a 2, 3 pair. This is a 5, 8 pair. These are no longer 5, 8 pairs. This is a 5, that's an 8. This is not a 4, that's not a 9. This is 6, 7, or 9. These are not 1s. That's not a 1, that's not a 3. And that is a 1, and that's not a 3. (13 3 digits without a 1. What is that? Actually, if this was a 9, that'd be 1, 3. If this were a 7, then it would be 1, 5, or 2, 4. 6 needs 7 more, which is 2, 5, or 3, 4. Okay, that's too many options. It's probably going to be exactly 6, sets of digits that add up to 13 in 3 cells. If it has a 9, it has to be 1, 3. If it has an 8, it could be 1, 4, or 2, 3. If it has a 7, then it needs a couple adding up to 6, which is 1, 5, or 2, 4. If it's a 6, then it needs 2 more adding up to 7, which is 2, 5, or 3, 4. And 5, 4, 3 is 12, which is not enough. So there are 7 ways of adding up to 13 in 3 cells. Which means there's only going to be 1 missing. If it does not contain a 1, then it can't be 2, 3, 8 because of that. It could be 2, 4, 7. It could be 2, 5, 6. Or it could be 3, 4, 6. I bet this is a 2 or a 3. With 4, 7, 5, 6, or 4, 6. Either way, it contains a 4 or a 5, making a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 triple, a quintuple, along these 6 cells. So these 3 have to be 6, 7, 8, 9. I'll make this 2, 5, 6, and not 3, 4, 6. But now, none of them can, no, it's one of them. This one can't be a 9, because then that'd have to be 1, 3. This has to be 3, 4 with a 6 there. Because that's the least it could be. Which means that's not a 6. It's either 2, 4, 7 or 2, 5, 6. It has to be 2, 4, 7. Making that a 2 and that a 3, which we could have told from that over there. This is a 5 now. These are not 6 or 7. These are not 5. 4 is one of those 3 cells. This can't have 7, 5, or 8 in it. So it has to be 1, 3, 9. This can't have 9, 4, or 6 in it. It could be 1, 5, 7 or 2, 3, 8. Both seem to work. This is not a 9, that's not a 4. This can't be 913 anymore. Could be 625 or it could be 715. Either way it has a 5 in it. 5 is one of those 2 cells. These contain 1 or 3. 2 goes here, and thus it goes in here. So that means it can't be 1, 5, 7. So it must be 2, 3, 8. And that a 3 and that a 1. Only 3 more to go. Either 1, 5, 7, 1, 4, 8, 2, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. This is 4 and 6. Making that a 4 and that a 7. This is 4, 6, or 7, but it can't be 4 or 6, so it has to be 7. This is 1 and 5. That's a 5, it's a 1. It's not 1, 5 anywhere, it has to be 2, 5 with a 6 here. This is either 1, 4, 8 or 1, 5, 7. This is a 2, that's a 3, 3, 4, 4, 6. 1, 5, 7 goes here. Making that a 1, that a 9, that an 8. This is a 1. This can no longer be 1, 5, 7. Has to be 1, 4, 8. It's a 5, that's a 7. This is a 6, no, an 8. Then we have 3, 6, 7, and 9. This is 3 and 6. This is 7 and 9. These are no longer 6s, that's not a 7. We have a 4 over here somewhere. A 1 over here somewhere. 7 in one of those 3 cells. A 6 in that cell right there. So that's a 6. This is a 4 and a 5 pair. This is a 5. This is an 8. This is a 5-9 pair. This is a 6-7 pair. This is 3, 4, and 9. This is a 1. This is an 8. What else? What else? What else? What else? 2 goes over here with 7. This is an 8. That's a 5, 5, 9. This is 1, 3, and 9. Over here we have 2, 3, 5, 7, 9. Way too many options. 9, 4 makes out of 3. And out of 3. Ah. Huh? No, not yet. I'm missing something on here too. Five goes in one of those 3 cells. Ah, this can't be 6, 7. It would break that cell. So this has to be 6, 7. That has to be 9, 4. That makes us a 3, that a 4, that a 9, that a 3, that a 9, that a 3. This is a 1, 9 pair. Then we have 4 goes here, 4, 5. That's not a 5. 6, 7, 3, 2, 2, 2, 5, 5, 1, 1, 9, 9, 7, 7, 7, 2, and 6, 4 up there. Nice. Nice little snack. 2-star puzzle, probably. Alright, I'm gonna do one more puzzle, and then I'm gonna end the stream. Actually, should I? No. This will be the last puzzle for today. So yeah, thank you everyone so much for coming. I yeah, I enjoy your guys' company. I am very excited that I got affiliate, and I'm happy to ship me again. I'll try to stream again tomorrow before work. If not, though, well, after work. But yeah,